Chris S. and Riley S. have done some crazy stuff with harvesters and tools, and today we're taking a look at what they can do with a tractor. Say hello to the Colossus tractor. Well, technically it's the Fendt Vario Forestry Edition pack, but it may as well be the Colossus Tractors pack. As always, you can go mild to wild. They've used the Fendt series, so we've got the 1000, the 700, and the 200. All of these include the standard engine options, in addition to a 1000 horsepower and a 5,000 horsepower edition. Granted, the 5,000 horsepower edition is said to be a non-farming edition. To get through 5,000 horsepower, you need a lot of grip, and as you know, well, there's not a lot of grip in tractors in farm sim. So they've added the high friction tires, as well as the Pro Grip. Now, these are going to have some insane grip. I don't know if you could go straight up a wall, but if it was angled a bit, I bet you probably could without being able to fall off. Being able to? Without having to fall off. Yeah! And don't worry, they're available as duals on the little guy with 5,000 horsepower at a top speed of 200 miles an hour. And the great thing is, in the time that it took me to tell you all of that, it is at 200 miles an hour. There you go. This is so stupid. It also takes a lot to stop. Going 200 miles an hour and stop. Yeah, that's not bad. I don't think my Miata can stop at that amount of speed. Well, it can't go 200 miles an hour either, can it? This is a mod for all platforms, and you can find the latest information on it in the pinned comment. So if you're curious what the status is right now, definitely go check that out. So let's check it out. As I mentioned, these are all kind of the same tractor at the end of the day. You've got all of your standard customization options, all of your standard stuff as far as stuff. I mean, you got a regular 1050 if you just wanted to, like, do some crazy setups and put a winch on here, but keep it as a 1050, you can do that. Or you can do this, whatever that is. That hurts my eyes, that's what that is. The 1000 and the 700 both have exact same customization options, with one difference. You are able to remove the rear warnings on the 700. And on the 200, there is no winch. However, we do have some additional weight, which can be added an extra 2,500 kgs. You can see the whole thing just kind of sit down. It is called a front weight, but it's really just making the tractor heavier. So that means that most everything's going to be shown right here on the 1000, so that is what I'm going to show you the customization on. Of course, as we mentioned, all the engine options are going to be the same, but we do have that 1000 horsepower and the 5,000 horsepower engine. The 1000 is meant for farming usage, so you're going to find the 1000 on the, well, the 1000 here as well as the 700. However, the smallest tractor, the 200, does not have the 1000 horsepower, because I don't think you're going to be pulling anything that requires 1,000 horsepower. With this, you might actually need it, so that's pretty darn cool. But again, as we said, we got that 5,000 horsepower, if you want to go with that. But this goes 50 miles an hour, so you're really not doing anything crazy. You just kind of go in the speed limit, really, at the end of the day. We do have a couple wheel options for the 1000. The 700's got a lot more. However, they're all basically the same. So you're going to have a standard, high friction, wheel weights, wide tires, wides with weights, rear twins all the way around, Pro Grip, which are kind of like the ones that we just talked about, the grippy ones. However, they are chains. And because this is a Forestry Edition tractor, you may want to use the chains. The chains are going to give you a little bit more, but, you know, there's that. I tend to stick with the high friction. You get a lot more grip that way, but since we're doing a farming tractor, probably wouldn't be out of the norm to go with a Michelin twin wheel setup. So there you go. That's what we're going to go for. Then we get to design, and these are pretty cool, and there's some wild and wacky stuff in here too. So we do have a forestry set, so this is kind of the stock custom look if you guys want to go with that. I do dig it. So you've got your standard green, and then you've got the orange, kind of a communal look almost. Then we go into the Colossus camouflage. Oh yes, if you wanted to use this tractor with maybe the mower on the front and a loading wagon on the back, or baler or something, you can do all kinds of crazy stuff. This is the Colossus tractor. Then we go into a fall camouflage. Then there's the winter camouflage, which unless there's snow on the ground, you ain't hiding from nothing. God, that hurts my eyes more than the owl that hurts my eyes blue. You have a green camo setup. Then you have the green camo, your color, which is very cool. So if you choose the your color, see all the stuff just kind of changes color? Well, that means that all this stuff down here we can change up, which is really nice. So you can actually make it camouflage. Everything you see is camouflage, and then everything you don't see is not. Does that make sense? Yeah. Then you got chrome, which is everything is chrome. Everything. I'm surprised the tires aren't chrome, to be completely honest with you. And then you've got gold. I love gold. Some of you may know where that's from. And then back to standard again. Ooh, there's so much going on. I'm just going to stick with standard for now. With it being technically a forestry item, you're going to want your bull bar. So we can add a bull bar there at the front, and then you've got it with some lights and some yellow lights. Then we can go for almost a full extra support beam there, and you can also add those extra lights in there too, which is very, very cool. And if you want the next thing a winch, you will have to have some sort of the bull bar added. So if you go with that, you're going to have a little winch that's added right there in the middle. And it will be added there through all of these versions. So keep that in mind. Cabin protection as well. You've got something for the front, something for the back. Looks like a ladder there. Sorry, I got the hiccups. I've been chugging coffee. And then you got something for the top. And then you can go for all of them. It's kind of nice to have the choice there. So we will keep it. Then window tinting. This is pretty standard as it goes for Colossus things. I like the special because it is toothpaste tractor, but you can choose whatever you like. And then the blinky light, you've got beacon light. The blinky light, you got blinky or rotate. Of course, we stick with blinky. And then we have the safety beacon, which is added to the back as well. Pretty standard with forestry items. I know when we were at Volvo about 3 years ago, this was on basically everything there. It's just a safety net. Now, you've also got flashers, and these are added all over the place. So we get flashers that are added to the bull bar. You get flashers that are added to the side. And then around towards the back, you also have flashers that are added under the cabin. And those are working with your beacons, which is very, very cool. Then we get into colors, and my oh my, there are so many different colors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change all these to black, and we'll slowly go through each one so you can see what it changes. This thing's kind of scary in all black, to be honest with you. Goodness. So, other than the colors that we've got for our window tint, this is where all of the other colors are going to reside. We are going to show off a white color or red just to really show what is what here, and it does look like whatever that is not it. What does that say? Wood. Oh, of course. Why wouldn't it be? As you would expect, main colors are main color. Then we go in here to the frame, and there you go. Everything that is in red all the way around, including those wheel bits there in the middle, those are going to be that. Let's change this up to wood as well, just to kind of... Why is wood an option? I love that. That's awesome. Then we've got our roof. Obviously, a roof being painted in white is pretty normal, so that is nice to see. Jumping around. Interior, we'll change this to a red, so you can see what's up with that. Full red interior. You love to see it. Nice. Let's change that back over. Then the grill. I think this one's fairly self-explanatory, but you've got that nonetheless. The grill mesh can be changed. Then we've got the exhaust. How about we change this to cyan? Nice. That is an interesting look for that, and I don't want to change that to color ever again. Then we have the chrome bits. We can actually change this up to pink, so you can see all the little chrome bits around are changed up to pink. So this would be really cool if you set it up to maybe a red, or maybe if you set it up to yellow. You can really get some cool setups for that. But of course, chrome is chrome at the end of the day, so there is that. You do have your seat colors, so you can change those up. That is a very plastic-looking seat, but I mean, I guess a bright red would be. Speaking of plastic, here's the plastic all the way around. So you can change up every plastic bit on the tractor. There it is in red, just so you can kind of get an idea of what is what. Let's go back out of there. Forestry guards, these can be changed too. I'm going to go with green. So I think green looks pretty cool, so there you go. That is all of your forestry guards added in green. Inner rim, of course, these are going to be rim colors at the end of the day, so that is your inner rim. And then we go for the outer rim here, and boop, changes up the outside as well. We'll go back to black here. So that is what you're going to see with the outer rim. And that is everything that you need to know about is this guy. As mentioned, there are a lot more wheel brands when it comes to the 700. However, it's really nothing too wild and crazy. Also, these do not have the high grip. You're just going to be getting the pro grip for these. And of course, no 1,000 horsepower engine on the little guy. Now we go into the game. Let's bring up our help window and we can take a look and see here. There is, well, Nothing. Nothing there. Oh, we do have one thing here. I gotta check that out. What's this gonna be doing? And it opens up the top. Very nice indeed. And then we've got the littlest guy right here with a 5,000 horsepower. Goodness gracious. There are many ways to test out horsepower and pulling power and all kinds of power. So what I've got is I've got just the big Michelin duals here. We've got the 1,000 horsepower farming engine, not anything else. Got a nice big 2,300 kg weight for the front, and we have the largest Borgo seeder that we've got in the game. We are gonna hook up all of that. Let's fill it up and see how it does. That's about 25, almost 26,000 liters back there that's just kind of hanging out. Let's unfold it and see how we do getting through the field. I mean, it's not slow. I'll give it that much. That is for sure. Goodness. We're going almost 25 miles an hour. It doesn't feel like there's hardly anything back there. But weight will always be an issue. Power may not be a problem, but weight will always be an issue for you guys. So definitely nice to see that this big guy right here is not doing too bad. Let's enable some fast farming here. With the real speed limit mod, we'll speed this up a bit and see how fast we can seed in the field. This is a big thing, and it's extremely difficult to fast farm with this, even with the largest tractors that we've got in the game. Mass takes time to get moving, and it does look like as well this one wants to go 20 miles an hour, maybe to go a little bit more afterwards, but probably not going to go too much faster than this. But I do love that we can. I'm going to make a really tight turn here just to kind of see what happens with the seeder. Usually this would go haywire. It's really not doing anything too wild and crazy. I think it's just because we got so much pulling power on here. But what if we had 5,000 horsepower with grippy tires? I know you want to know, because I definitely want to know. So let's see. Well, that was speed limit right there. Let's let it loose. Oh boy. What a way. Man, I tell you what, these grip tires are sweet. Yeah, there's 50 miles an hour already. I don't know, that's the issue with the weight. Yeah, that'll do it. There's no way to get around that unless you do like a Colossus X9 or something. Does it work? Absolutely. However, if you're not using fast farm equipment, well, it doesn't really matter how fast you're going. Yeah. Oh, this is great, man. This is just about perfect. You're doing a tractor pull, just use one of these. Now, I know it doesn't say that it is a farming thing, but I did want to see how this little guy would fare. We have 5,000 horsepower, and we are literally just pulling from side to side. This is where the weight comes into play. Weight is definitely an issue. You can have the grippiest tires with the most horsepower in the world, but when you're farming, if you can't get a hold of the weight, you ain't gonna go nowheres. But I had to try it. I mean, come on. And you can't tell me that this doesn't just look awesome. I mean, look at this. We got our Colossus in here with the Colossus harvester over here and the root cart thingy there, and I'm in the way over here. It's just, it's a match made in heaven. Oh, I love Colossus. And of course, I'm gonna jump it. Do you think I'm crazy? No. I'm the most sane person that's ever driven a 5,000 horsepower tractor in the world. I just hope I reach 200 miles per hour by then. Oh, I built the ramp too long. Look at that, 200 miles an hour. That was quick, that's what that was. And yay! Ha ha ha! Oh, I could have built the ramp so much higher than that. Yeah! Ooh, sorry Chris, sorry Riley. Yeah. I love to hear the tractor beeping. There you go. What you think about that? Not too shabby. So there you go. I know it's wild, I know it's wacky, I know it's crazy, but that's kind of the whole point of the Colossus mods, isn't it? To get out there and have a little bit of fun, and to be honest, 4 Fields is like the perfect map to drive these things around. You could really stretch them out and have some fun. Hope you enjoyed this one. Thank you to Chris and Riley for sending this over to show you guys ahead of its release. which hopefully shouldn't be too much longer. Again, check out the pinned comment. Check out the latest information about that. Otherwise, have an awesome day. Hey, let me know what you're going to do with this. I'm super excited to hear what you guys are up to. All right, have a good one. We'll see you.